G'day Gorgeous. I so appreciate you tuning in today to the podcast that empowers women for business and financial success and the lifestyle that they love. Today's question is coming off the back of last week's podcast. How do I start a new business? Where do I begin? Today we are delving into part 2 and I'm moving into strategy behind what makes a business successful compared to what makes a business fail. The Gday Gorgeous podcast is where you are going to get real, raw, and relatable stories, answers, ideas, and proven success strategies that will help you overcome your frustrations and go on to create a financially successful business lifestyle that you will absolutely love living. I'm Amanda Jane Clarkson. I'm a best-selling author, inspirational speaker, an entrepreneur, a certified DiMartini method facilitator, and a world-leading business and finance coach for women who want results right now. And to find out how I can guide you and show you how to create financial independence and business mastery, visit my website, gdaygorgeous.com, or click the link in the notes below to find out more. And be sure to have your journal ready and a nice cuppa, because today I am going to give you some very, very empowering ideas around financial independence and business mastery. Okay, let's dive into this very popular topic, part 2 of starting a business and what to do next. Good morning, gorgeous butterflies. Welcome to today's podcast. You are with me up in Roslyn Bay at the marina, and it is a beautiful day. Hope you're looking forward to today's podcast and you have your journal, ladies. You are definitely going to need this journal today. I'm going to give you plenty of gold, make it worth your while being here. Today we're going to be talking about business strategy. Part 2 of last week's podcast, which is starting a new business. What do I do? Where do I begin? And we went over some 5 steps, and today I'm going to delve into more strategy. So as I said, you'll definitely need your journal. So today I'm going to jump into it because I've got a lot to cover, girls. I'm going to be as quick as I can on this podcast, but you know me, I want to get as much value to you as possible. And I have been seeing over the past months, and by myself asking you so many questions of how I can bring you more value, how I can really help you elevate your life, because this is what G'day Gorgeous Select is about, is elevating your life to the point that you love living your life in every way, in every area. Now, we all know that I talk about the 7 areas of life, but it's come to my attention through countless posts, countless questions, and continuously talking that I'm really going to delve a lot into financial independence. Now, why am I going to be talking about financial independence, which can be wrapped around business and other concepts and other ideas? Because all of you possess massive wealth within you, but sometimes we get stuck and we don't know how to get that wealth from inside of us to the outside world, share our gifts and our wisdom and our talents, or to actually own what we call the traits of the greats, to feel worthy enough that you're good enough, like all the other people that you see or place on that pedestal of successful, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to teach you, start to show you how to pull that wealth outside of yourself, and so that you can move up the scale and start to see new opportunity, new ideas. People will treat you different when you see yourself different. So give me a heart and a thumbs up if you'd love to learn more about financial independence, and if you'd actually love to experience financial independence where you're not relying on other people for money, you're not stressed to the eyeballs about money, you don't go to bed feeling anxious and sick to the stomach, thinking, how the hell am I going to take care of myself for the rest of my days? And feeling like you have to cling on to government support or other people to help you get there, that you would just love to wake up and say, hey, with or without a partner in my life, with or without the government, with or without other people supporting me financially, I know I can get to the rest of my days, live into my hundreds, hopefully comfortably and securely, knowing that I have what it takes to be financially independent. So give me a thumbs up or a love heart, ladies, if you would love to know more about that. And the reason that I'm very passionate about money, you know I talk about it all the time, I'm very open with it, is because since I was a very young girl, I've always wanted to become financially independent. And I remember before I was 10 years of age, I said I want to become a millionaire, and I didn't really understand the concept or the context of becoming a millionaire, but I knew I wanted to have money because I knew it'd give me choice and freedom to live the type of life that I want. And that's what this whole podcast is about. This is what Gday Gorgeous is about, giving you choice and freedom to live the lifestyle that you choose to, the lifestyle of your design, not through accident and worrying about money. So all these love hearts, all these thumbs up if you are keen to learn more about that, because financial independence, for those of you listening on the outside or new to this, or my ladies listen to this, financial independence is an action game and an internal game. So you need to have the two components. You need to master self, but also master, there's a few action steps that you really need to understand to create self-mastery and that financial independence that I don't believe anybody doesn't want it, because if I'm ever doing a seminar and I say who would love to be financially independent, put your hand up, ladies, if you would love that as well, because I know I used to put my hand up, but I think, well, how the hell do I get there? Give me some, fundamentals and real strategies that I can hold on to and actually work through mentally and physically that will help me get there. I've done it through business, so I'll let you know how I've done it. I have done it through serving people, through business strategy, and now through property and wealth creation through property. Now, some of you might like shares and different types of ways to invest your money, but, over time, I'm going to go right back to the very beginning and create extra modules and teachings around financial independence, because it is something that I'm very, very passionate about. But I know what it takes to get there. So let's get into this podcast. Last week we talked about, I want to start a business, Amanda, but where do I begin? There's so much information out there. Everybody says to do this, that, and the other, but what do I really need to do? Last week, ladies, we covered the first 5 points of what you need to do. It is critical to do before you step into the vehicle, because I want to help you step into what might be an old jalopy, but it is really a Ferrari if the driver knows how to drive that thing. So really, it doesn't matter if you have a vehicle already, a freedom vehicle, or a business already, or a business concept. You still need to follow these guidelines to make sure that whatever vehicle you step into is going to produce the result that you want, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, in every area of your life. And this is why it doesn't matter about the vehicle, it matters about the driver. So the 5 things we covered last week were your big chief aim. So you need to have that personal declaration, which is your what you want and why you want it. Now, that's not just in business, that your business will spill over into your daily life, into your family's life, into your love life, into your relationships life, into your personal empowerment, how you feel about yourself, because remember, your net worth is tied to your self-worth. Please write that down. Net worth goes with self-worth. And so we talked about that and creating a declaration around why you're even starting a business. Most people out there, and especially women, are starting more businesses than men these days. And with the divorce rate well over 52 to 53%, many women are beginning to start their own enterprise from home, from the kitchen bench, so many online businesses, because the online business can fit in and around the family dynamic, which is fantastic. I love it. And that's how I created my financial independence. Started from the spare bedroom of my apartment in Surfers Paradise here in Queensland, with an idea of selling fitness equipment on eBay. And at that time, I was absolutely dead broke. But in my heart, I wanted to become financially independent. I wanted choice. I wanted freedom. I wanted to live my life how I want it. And that's why I'm sitting on a boat now, because the thing I love is being able to do this from anywhere in the world. But it came from that one idea. And that's the great thing. So even if you have a traditional business, that's fantastic as well, because many of you love traditional business. Or if you have a job that you absolutely love, a career that you love, or you're a consultant of some form, or you might be working within a company as an intrapreneur, as many of you are. That is fantastic as well. You still need to align what you want to get from that to your values in life, meaning your intrinsic internal values and how that's going to work for you, so that you feel, enthusiastic. That's the word I want to use. Wake up feeling enthusiastic about the day to come. So the second thing we talked about was your unique service, then the benefits and the drawbacks of starting a business. There is never one side to starting anything in life, whether it's your love life, your health, your relationships, money, making money. There's a balance. There are as many benefits and drawbacks, but if you list them and you know what you're in for, then you're less likely to be crazy with emotions, manic and depressed and high and low and anxious or depressed. I think I said depressed a minute ago. I'm getting all excited now. I'm speaking at 1,000 miles a moment. But it helps keep your emotions more in balance so that you can get on with what's important. Then we talk about the price you're prepared to pay to have a business. There's always a price prepared to pay. So that becomes what your service is and what you're prepared to give to receive. Remember, money comes from service. And then be, do, and have, which is your attitude before results. So I'm just leaning in here. The first half would not have gone live yet, Sandy. Anyway, so I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to read the comments, ladies, because it just gets me off track, and I'll answer all of your questions. So please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. You're taking notes, you're on board with me, because I am going to be charging forward today. I've got a lot to cover. And this one I'm sharing, ladies, is gold. This stuff that I'm about to share with you is what has set me on the road to, I have become financially independent years ago. But, and I don't say this to brag, I say this to share with you that there is hope for everyone. I was dead broke, felt that I had no clue, but I invested in myself. I had to become the person that could attract that financial success. And I did that through service and then investing. And that's where it all stems from. And it's got everything to do with what I'm going to be talking about today. So please write notes as quickly as possible. And now I'm going to move through the Live Now formula, because the Live Now formula is the unique 7-step formula that I have created that will give you financial independence. It will set you up for business mastery, and it will set you up in all the areas of life that you want to master and become successful in, whatever that looks like for you, so that you can design the life that you want to live. So if we look at love and let go, when you're talking about business mastery, financial, because business and finance go together. If there's no money, if there's no profit, you haven't got a business, you've got a bloody nightmare, in my opinion. And I know, because I've been there many, many times, okay? So the first thing I think about under the word L for love and let go is that you would want to conduct an audit on yourself. So first of all, you want to know what your own strengths are in business, your weaknesses, so that you can think about the things that you're weak on. I don't try and become good at. I go, well, how can I delegate them out in time? I need to know them, but how can I delegate them or move them away altogether? I'll get somebody else to help me with that. My personality profile, I think this is a very important one, because some people are just not cut out for business. Or if you know that you haven't been previously cut out for business, how can you change your value system to learn what you need to learn so that you are the person that is cut out for business? So I talk about the DISC profile. There are different traits of people, different strengths. And so you need to conduct this personal analysis on yourself and ask yourself, what do I need to let go of internally and externally so that I can be successful and present within my business, and so that I can create this financial freedom that I want? Now, we all know that we start a business for one thing only: financial freedom, to create the life that we want to live. Nobody gets up in the morning and goes, I just want to do business for the rest of my life. There's always an outcome. And so make a list of what you are willing to let go of internally and externally. And if you're new to watching this podcast or listening to this podcast and you're not within my own personal community, please put yourself in the shoes and ask yourself, oh my gosh, have I had a business? How do I conduct myself? Where are my strengths and weaknesses? Just come along with the journey with me and have an open heart and open mind, because I've done the yards and this is the stuff that I've gone through to help me get where I am, and I know it will work for you. So think about, internally, the mindset shift that it takes to be successful in business and finance. Ask yourself, what are my thoughts? What are my beliefs? What are my habits around the philosophy of success? Do I feel worthy, or do I need to work on that? Do I have a high self-worth, or is my self-worth low? And do I put other people on a pedestal and myself in the pit because I don't feel good enough? So really, it's a self-analysis of where you are right now, emotionally, mentally, physically, of the exact starting point that you want to start within your business. And so look at your environment. Are you in the right environment that is conducive for you to be able to become successful? Because your environment is everything. For you ladies inside my own community, this is the environment conducive for success. We uplift, we empower, we teach, we educate, and we cheer you along. For those of you listening on the outside to this podcast, what is your environment? Who's your mentor? Who's cheering you along? Understanding there's going to be highs and lows, wins and losses, which is all perfect, but who's cheering you on? What's the environment? Your family, your friends, your social, political, your religious beliefs, your town and your country, what you listen to on the radio, what you listen to on the TV, that all has an impact on you and how you conduct your life. And so you've got to ask yourself the question, what am I willing to let go and change so that I can have the business success that I would really love to have? So give me a thumbs up or a sign, girls, if this is making sense and you've gone, aha, there's a couple of changes that I need to make internally and externally to have a chance of creating a successful business. I've been there myself. I have had to let go of many things because I made the decision, I was committed, and I've made the decision that I am going to be financially independent. I am going to be successful by serving other people, helping them get what they want. And I gave up environments, friends, stinking thinking that was never going to get me to where I wanted to get to. So give me a sign, girls, if you are feeling and hearing that, yep, I need to let go of a few things as well. And if you're listening on the outside, jot it down. You know what's holding you back. You know who's holding you back because you just know. And so be honest with yourself. And this is no judgment, but it is the truth. And as I say on this podcast, you are going to get nothing but the truth from me because I want your success as fast as possible. Results now. Okay, so we move into the second thing. The next letter in the word live is I. Now, with your business, and you're starting a business or you might already have a business, what is possible? Because your imagination is the gateway to turning hopes and dreams to reality. So you need to think about right up front, what does the lifestyle look like that I would love to create through having my business? This is so important. Too many people start a business because other people are starting it, or they've been to a seminar and it sounds like a good idea, or that person over there has had success, so they'll think that they'll get success, but it's not true. You need to buy into, write this down, I need to buy into my own belief system. I need to buy into my own imagination and listen to what I want. Now, for some people, they want to make millions. For some people, they want to make enough money to put their children through the best education possible. For some of you, you want to make enough money that you can pay down your debt and live comfortably for the rest of your life. For some of you, you want to make enough money so that you can take care of your health and well-being and buy the very best medicine, the very best food that will help your body stay alive for the next 50 to 60 years, if that's what you want. No right, no wrong, but it's what is right for you. This is where most people that I mentor go wrong. They fill their visions or their ideals in their mind with what other people think is right for them. It is what is right for you. It might be hundreds of thousands for one person. It might be millions for another. It might be billions for another person. I mean, look at Donald Trump. If he wasn't worth billions, unless he's got $1 billion in the bank, for instance, or on him in his presence, he would probably feel broke. For him, he has that multi-billion-dollar mindset. For me, it's multi-million-dollar mindset. For some people, it's multi-thousands, multi-hundreds. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to share the information and get you thinking and open up your mind and your heart to going out there creating what is correct for you. And so imagination. Now, this is where you really need to think about just not asking other people's opinion, unless it's a mentor who has your back, unless it's a mentor who has a result that you want and you're simply looking for a little guidance, a little prod here and there. This is where I would ask you not to ask other people's opinions, just what you want. So then we need to set goals for that. What are the goals? What are you going to commit for? And what are you going to make time for? Now, a lot of people say, I'm not successful in business because I don't have time. Well, that's just total bullshit, because we all have time to do the things that are important for us. If you want to start a business, you truly have a desire to start a business, to create financial success, to get the life that you want, we need to make the time. We all have the same amount of 24 hours, but that is setting standards and priorities around making the time, because most people want instant gratification. But if you start to think about long-term gratification, the small sacrifices, and they're not really sacrifices, but we'll say the small sacrifices that you make today will pay massive dividends in the long term. What are you prepared to make no excuses for? Now, I talk to people all day, every day on my travels, and one of the biggest excuses I ever hear is, I haven't got time for my health and well-being. I can't believe that people actually look at me and say that, because I'm just must be looking at them like, are you serious? No excuses. So I will get up out of bed at 5 o'clock. I'm on a boat, and sometimes it's been really rough weather. I can't get off and exercise. So I've got a little stepper machine on my boat. I do push-ups on the floor. I do lunges. I'm on my stepper machine. I have a TRX, which is just a couple of straps that I can do push-ups on, and lunges and squats. and I'm always reading, writing in my journal. I'm always plugged into my personal empowerment while I'm exercising. So we need to form this new habit of going, no excuses, girlfriends, none whatsoever. If you want success, no excuses. And so this is what I say. Imagine what could be possible if you said to yourself, my new standard is no excuse. I'm disciplined and I am going to create the life that I want through the business, which is the vehicle, which will give me that financial independence. Then with all the goals that you set for your business, they must have start times and end times. This is critical. Most people never arrive at certain destinations for goals, right? The dream is the long term. The goal is on the way because they haven't set proper time frames. Either they're too far into the distance or too short. Too far into the distance, you probably get bored, you lose interest, and you go off into the next shiny object because you want instant gratification. If they're too short, now I am a big one for this. I've done it to myself countless times. I've set massive goals that are too short to achieve. I set myself up for anxiety, feeling depressed, feeling not good enough, not worthy, and really angry at myself. Please take note, learn from my errors and what I've had to learn of. Set goals in time frames that are achievable, that make sense, that you can commit to, make no excuses for, and that they have chunked down from yearly to monthly to weekly, to daily, to momentarily, where you're working on high priority actions only. That is the only way not to send yourself into a mental state of depression or putting yourself up on a pedestal thinking you're so great that you can conquer the world in 5 minutes flat. That has been one of the biggest learnings for me, and I still work on myself today, that I set goals in too short a time frame. And I'm learning, as I'm teaching you now, to set yourself up for success, not failure. And I look at it every day. But you must have those. And along with the time frames, right beside that, who, what, when, and how is it going to happen? Now, if you're going to launch your business, set yourself up for that financial freedom. Who, what, when, and how is it going to happen? Really think about it. This is what I call a blueprint. Now, some people teach that you don't need to start with the end in mind. I 100% disagree with it because I understand the psychology of the mind and how the mind works and how we can set ourselves up for feelings, emotional feelings that really set us up for anxiety and depression, or up here where you think you can conquer the world in 5 minutes flat if we don't have this blueprint. Because it's like starting to build. I have built a dream home. And I had a blueprint. I carried the idea around in a scrapbook for 20 years. That was a dream for 20 years. I had images, I had vision boards for 20 years. But I didn't just turn up to the block of land and start laying bricks. And then, someone would come along and say, what are you doing? And I say, I don't know, I'm just laying bricks. It doesn't make sense, does it? I had a blueprint drawn up professionally. I knew exactly what was going to happen, myself and my husband, every step of the way, so that when we were building that home, it was a very good experience, not an experience that sent us into a turmoil. We had everything structured and laid out. People often go into a business or want to become financially independent with no clue, no blueprint. Now, this is not a judgment on anyone because I've been in this spot myself. I've started 14 different businesses. My very first business, one of my business, I've told the story on a podcast. I started a business to meet a good-looking guy. Now, is that a blueprint? That's ridiculous. The thing is, I didn't meet a good-looking guy. I met my husband, who's a hottie, and I'm still with him after 22 years. But the point is, that's a ridiculous business plan, isn't it? And I learnt from there that everything needs its own blueprint. And in business mastery, financial mastery, life mastery, each area must have a blueprint. Okay, so give me a sign, ladies, if this is making sense. if this is valuable, and if this is a new podcast for you, give me a sign, give me a comment. I hope you are gleaning golden gems from my experience of doing ridiculous things in business to finally getting structure, getting my mental state in alignment so that I could go on to create that financial outcome that I wanted with my business. And I always say the blueprint must be in every 7 areas. Oh my God. And as one of my other mentors says, inch by inch, it's a cinch. And it is so true when you really break it down. And you girls know I talk about my diary here, where I even talk about setting up at the beginning of the month the highest intentions, my most important intentions, what they are for every single week. I start off with the whole month, then I break it down into weeks, then I break it down into days. The intentions, I set 3 to 5 intentions that I will allow no excuses, no interruptions, so that I get those things done and I push everything else out of my way. And I know some of you are sitting there thinking, well, you don't have kids, Amanda. I have had 14 staff. That is like having 14 kids at one time. I've travelled 47 weeks of the year speaking all over the world at different seminars at that same time. And I was doing 7 days a week for 7 years, getting my business to where I wanted it to get to. So I understand commitment, I understand the sacrifice, and I understand what it takes to be organised enough. So they are like children. Having 14 staff for me was like having children. And I've grown up with children all around me, and hundreds and thousands of students all over the world over the past 15 years is like having children, because I've had to structure my day because many of my students who I mentor, I've had to fit those in within my day. So it doesn't matter. You know, I always say it's still if you want it bad enough. And I have students that I have mentored with. One of my ladies had 7 children. She's not in this butterfly community. It was another lady, 7 children. And she used to come to our seminars pregnant. And then over the years, she brought the babies to the seminars and went on to create 4 very, very successful online businesses through our mentoring. So when someone says, I haven't got time, I just don't believe the why is big enough. There is not a strong enough reason, because if you say that you're too busy, or you come up with different reasons, or I call them excuses of why you can't make this your reality, then I'll say to you, you don't see enough benefit. You see more drawbacks than benefits of making that commitment. You know, and this particular lady that I'm talking about, who became very successful, taught her children some of the business strategies that we taught her, set them up to understand that they didn't have to live on government welfare. They were at the time, they come from a very religious background, and they were on government support at the time. Over those years, and this was right back in 2010, I think I first met them at a seminar. They came off welfare. They become financially independent through their 4 online businesses. They even set up their own family with an online business. And for me, that was just, the biggest payoff for me was to see that family go from having to live on government support. And this is not a judgment for anyone living on government support. I'm just sharing with you what is possible with a mindset change, the right vehicle, and understanding these principles to becoming, then they're not financially independent just yet, but they are not relying on, they were relying on family and government. But here's the twist. Their own family now rely on them for their income. So it's very interesting, and that's why I say to you, always write up the drawbacks and the benefits of you going into business, because with money, you end up having, you've got to take care of other people. Other things will be expected of you. So you'll have those drawbacks, those feelings, and you'll probably think, oh shit, now if I make all this money, who's going to want some of it? So we've always got problems to deal with in life. However, I would rather be on that side of the fence where I am financially set up to be able to support myself and others that I choose to, than on the other side of the fence, feeling desperate and stressed out and anxious. So that's just a quick story that I want to throw in there. Who thinks that story is really inspiring? Give me a sign, because you look at people sometimes and you wonder how they're going to make it. This particular woman and her husband had a big enough reason why that they said, we are willing to do whatever it takes, Amanda, whatever you say to do, and they just followed the structure. I was blown away, because I have to admit, when I met them, I first made a judgment, which I will admit. I'm thinking, how the hell is she going to do this? She's got 6 kids with another one on the way, which would be number 7. How are they going to do it? And they did it. Never judge a book by the cover, hey? Full kudos to them. Okay, let's move on. I hope you're writing copious amounts of notes, lady. This is Magella saying very, very inspiring. Oh, my God. They are still around, still selling online, moved from eBay to other, building out different businesses. And there's many, many, many of these stories I could share with you. Hundreds, in fact, of stories of people who had a big enough reason why to change their financial destiny. And in turn, their lifestyle. So now let's go to the V, the letter V in the word live. Visualize. Now, I know we talk about this a lot, but what is your business going to look like? You need to have a clear image in your mind of what you would love your business to look like. Infancy, right up into maturity. So I have done this, and many people set themselves up, the difference between a fantasy where they're thinking they want this big thing out here, but then to do that, to have this, massive global impact, for instance, it's going to take a lot of time, energy, effort, and strategy to do that, versus your intrinsic values I spoke about a moment ago. Be true to yourself. If your outcome, you visualize your children going to the best schools, you visualize having no debt on your home, you're mortgage free, you visualize being able to travel the world 6 months a year, you visualize having enough vitality to spring out of bed every morning and enjoy your day, that's an intrinsic value versus a fantasy. I have set myself up for fantasies and failed every single time until I said to myself, Amanda, get real. What do you really want to do with the rest of your life? Where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 and 50 years from now? And I can sit here and look at you in the eye, ladies, and say, this is what I can do to the day I'm no longer on this physical plane. I'm doing what I love to do, which is mentoring and coaching and teaching others how to become free in their life. What are you doing? So set yourself up not to fall, but to live with inspiration and enthusiasm. I hope that makes sense. And that is why so many businesses fail. And with your visualization, here's a very important distinction. Act as if. Now, most people go, but that's lying. I want to become financially independent. I want to become successful in my business. I want to have no mortgage. I want to travel the world 6 months a year. I want to send my children to these schools, which cost a fortune. It doesn't matter. Put images up on your digital vision board that you've got here inside Select, or if you're listening from the outside in and you're new to this podcast, put those images up. Where you want to travel, the schools you want to send your children, the vitality that you want to have, what does it look like? What would you look like? What would you be wearing? What car would you be driving? Which area would you be living in? What would your business look like? How much money would you have in your purse, in your wallet, or in your bank account, as if, and you look at those images every day until you believe that it's absolutely yours before you have it, because that's how the subconscious mind works. It doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. And a belief, remember, is a thought we continually have over and over and over again. And so this is how I've set up my life. 20 years I walked around with a scrapbook of images and pictures of a very big, beautiful home, American home, that in my wildest dreams did I know how I was going to get there. And I live in that house today. I live in the exact house on a double block, and it is my dream home. I had nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, when I used to go and look at property, the real estate agent would say, "Bugger off, you're wasting our time." And I didn't care. I acted as if. I would walk through those open houses on the beachfront thinking I was magnificent, pretending I was very, very rich and that I could afford any beachfront property. Literally, girls, I had a push bike that had seen better days. I could barely make ends meet, my husband and I. We were living week to week. In fact, we were living day to day, stretching out the budget. And so it is possible because I've lived it. And I had the same vision for my business. I would put images up of me standing on stage in front of thousands of people, changing lives. I would put images up of me being a teacher and a mentor who could help people get what they want so I could get what I want. I used to put images up of the vitality that I wanted, the body that I wanted, the youth in my head. Yes, I'm getting older on the outside, but in my own head, I'm still a 25-year-old, 30-year-old. You know, it's the body believes what you tell it to believe. So fill your board and act as if. Walk around, sit in the new car, book a trip somewhere. Become the person. Now, this goes back to the be, do, have. Become the person mentally and emotionally. Do the action steps, right, that are coming from inspiration and enthusiasm to have the outcome that you want. Business success, financial freedom, and the lifestyle. Give me a sign if that makes sense. Joe's going, great story. Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the things we've gone through. And I never cared. I had set myself up. I didn't care what they thought. And this is the trick, ladies and gents, if you're listening to this on the outside. Picture yourself in the life that you want, the money that you want, the house you want, the schools you want your children to go to, the travel, the freedom that you want, and act it out. Don't care what anyone says. It's none of their business. I was made fun of since I was a child, laughed at, ridiculed, told by my teachers I was dumb. I failed every subject at school except religion and art, and I only passed religion because my dad's sister was one of the nuns that taught us, so she must have felt sorry for me. I was laughed at since I was a child. Here she goes again. Here's another business. I know she's going to fail. I have lived with this my whole life, and people still today will probably laugh at me. I just don't care anymore because what other people think is none of my business. And when you truly get that and understand that, that's what will set you free, and that's what will set you apart in your business and your finance and your lifestyle. I guarantee it because I live it and I breathe it every day. Let's keep moving. We are into the word E for empower in the word live. Empower you. You will need to know things you do not know if you want to be successful in your business. You will need knowledge in the areas you don't have knowledge in. You will need to study and learn business strategies before you choose the vehicle. So choose the vehicle and ask yourself, who do I need to look at? Who's got the money that I want to have? What do they know that I don't know? Which is the mentor that can show me what business success looks like? You ladies have me inside select, but for you on the outside, you've got to think about this. The area of life that you want to become successful in, you need newfound knowledge. You need to immerse yourself in the stuff that will take you from here to here and bridge the gap as soon as possible. So for my ladies inside here, you girls, my outcome is to get you results now, to move you from here to here, from A to B as quickly as possible in the most calm way possible, using the right strategy for you. And so that's what I say. Empowerment only comes through knowledge, but implemented knowledge. So think long-term gratification, not short-term. That pulls most people undone. That creates addictions. That's where drug problems come along. Because humans, we're set up for instant gratification, and social media has had a big impact on instant gratification. I know that I sometimes set myself up and want instant gratification. And I have been told by countless mentors to calm down, be more patient, and just go the distance. So set long-term gratification goals and dreams, and then short term, set yourself up to have a win within 30 days. I'll get to that in a minute. And I'm still looking at all 7 areas because your business will affect every area of your life. You are going to see that no matter what business you set yourself up for and you want to become successful in, it will affect every area. Now, I would say to you from a mentor point of view, if I could give you any wisdom, never, ever, ever push your health aside for your business outcome or your financial outcome. You will pay the price, and I know because I have trained and mentored countless people who gave up their health for their wealth. Big, big, big mistake. You must find a way, and I've done it, and I know you can do it. I have set myself up working 7 days a week, but I still take care of my health and fitness 7 days a week. No excuses. I'm on the boat on the freaking floor doing push-ups at 5:30 in the morning, doing lunges in 5 meter length here. Nothing will get in the way of my health, and I'm not saying that to brag, because you will need your strength. You will need your vitality. You will need your marbles. When I say marbles, for those of you who don't know what I mean, mental capacity, emotional capacity, physical capacity to be successful in business. Don't care what it is, especially the internet. Especially, there is so much noise out there. How are you going to stand out if your health is in the gurgler? Your brain will be in the gurgler. You'll be foggy. You won't be able to think. You'll be sluggish, and you will miss the boat. The money will be left to those who are clear. They have clarity. They've got their blueprint. They've got their mentor, and they are on the highway to success. That is where the money is, and that's the difference between failure and success. It ain't the vehicle, it is the person. So I know I'm sounding forthright and I'm getting all wound up, but I just love talking about this stuff because so many mentors will tell you one side of the story, and I will not do it. There are 2 sides, and it goes hand in hand, and that's why I still talk about the 7 areas of life, but I focus on business and money in this instance here that I'm talking about today. So if you have this lopsided view and you don't take care of your health and you're just looking for the money, what will happen is you'll have a breakdown in your relationships, your health, your love life will probably suffer. You will go into anxiety, often depression, because you're foggy and you're unbalanced, and your income will never come to you. Because money has 4 legs, we have 2 legs. So if you're constantly chasing money down, and I've been in that space, believe me, you will soon see that money needs to come to you through calmness, through ideas, and when you have a big enough reason, you have a strategy, and you would love to serve other people, help them get what they want so you get what you want, the money will in turn come to you. Remember, money is a fair exchange of value, and if anyone has a problem with selling, you will never, ever, ever have financial freedom. You will never be financially independent. You will never be able to have fair exchange of value, because selling to me is up there with oxygen, and selling to me is up there, it's religion. It's a fair exchange of value. Service. That's all money is. So see money as service. I've got something that you want. You give me money. It's a transference of energy. Okay, one of my mentors says, transform the pain. I'm going to transform the pain, take the money from your wallet to fix your problem. That's all money is. Give me a thumbs up or a love heart if you would pay good money to have your problems solved by a mentor who knows how to solve them instantly. You can't walk, you're physically broken, and you're walking around hunched over, and someone says to you, for $2,000, I will have you running up the stairs by tomorrow afternoon. Would you pay the $2,000? Or in my instance, for education, teaching people how to become successful, there's a fair exchange of value. Years and years and years and years of learning, going through the processes in the trenches to transfer the knowledge to someone that can save 10 years. So would you pay a mentor X amount of money to shave 10 to 20 years off going through the pain of learning it yourself? Of course you would. A toothache, you'd pay the dentist $500 to pull the wisdom tooth that's kept you awake for 1 week. That's all selling is. The dentist is making a sale, fair exchange of value. Give me a sign or a crying voice or an angry face if you feel that you have a charge. I'll call that a charge on money and selling, just to give me an indication, because please understand you're not alone. So many people I speak to, especially women, have a charge on money. So give me an indication. Again, no judgment, but I can help you dissolve that feeling so that you will love selling. I love fair exchange of value, because it saves people's lives, saves them from years of angst and frustration. Look at all these signs. Ladies, I am going to turn the tables and have you loving the idea of fair exchange, which just happens to be in paper and coin form or electronic. Let's move on. The last 3 letters in the word live now. N for never quit. What will you do when you become overwhelmed? If you don't have a strategy, the blueprint, the mental capacity in your business, it will break you. You need a strategy for staying on course. How you're going to deal with stress, write this down. How am I going to deal with the stress that comes up? Do you have a way to dissolve lopsided views where you have a charge, a negative charge or a positive charge on how you feel? And how do you deal with perceived failure? Now, I've had 14 businesses, 10 of them perceived failures. But what I've realised through all the work I've done is that they're not failures. They were on the way to setting me up for the thing that I love to do the most, my true purpose in life, which is empowering people in this way. So how will you deal with that? Have you got a way to deal with your perceived failure mentally and emotionally? Because it'll put you down in the pit. You'll be putting yourself in the pit, beating yourself up, going, what the hell is wrong with me? I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I'm not worthy. I knew I'd fail at this business. I failed at every other thing, so of course I'm going to fail at this. Okay? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? We say it to ourselves. How are you going to control the self-talk when that happens? Because inevitably it's going to happen, because you get the two sides. And how will you make sure your problems in your business are not bigger than you? How are you going to do that? Because you're going to have so many problems to solve. That's what business is. Business is write this down. Business is the art of solving problems for fair exchange of value, which is money. It's beautiful, isn't it? So if you, in your mind, think, if I can solve other people's problems, they pay me money, they're happy, I'm happy. That is all it is. The next letter, opportunity. Now, opportunity will really start to come to you when you start to go through these steps, these strategy steps around your business and around money, which I'm going to be talking about for many, many podcasts to come. Opportunity. Now, when I said you need to set yourself up for quick wins to keep yourself inspired and enthusiastic, that's why in this companion diary, I set up month, week intentions, and then I'll move it over to daily intentions. By setting yourself up for monthly, weekly, daily intentions, they are in effect wins. Now, when you are having a win as a human being, mentally and emotionally, you feel good about yourself. But be careful. You don't want to set yourself up to think, God, I'm going to conquer the world in 5 minutes. I said that a moment ago. But small increments so that you feel you're moving along. Because if you set a goal too far down the track, you feel like you're never going to get there. So think about that. 3 daily intentions that you can tick off, that you go, good on me. I've done something. I've moved a step forward, closer to my outcome, closer to my dream, closer to having the mortgage paid off, closer to having money in the bank, closer to financial independence, closer to sending the kids to those schools that I want them to go to. 3 daily intentions. You will start to feel good. You will start to feel successful. You will start to feel more worthy. Remember, net worth, self-worth go hand in hand. Please write that down. Good. Now, girls, give me a sign. Are you enjoying this? Are you writing copious amounts of notes? I have been talking so fast. I've only got a few minutes to go. It's one of the longest podcasts I've done. But as you can see, money and business, big topic. All women want, well, most women I've ever spoken to want financial independence. We all want money in the bank. We all want to feel that we can take care of ourselves. And I would just love some feedback because as you can see, when it comes to these two topics and health, you can't stop me. I'm just going to have a little sip of my tea. It's actually hot water, so hang on. Okay, we are still going. We're nearly there, ladies, nearly at wrap up. So opportunity. Focus on the big rocks. Write this down. We focus on the big rocks, then the stones, then the pebbles, then the sand, and then the water. This is strategy in business. Don't sweat the small stuff. Read out your big reason why every day. If you do not have a big enough reason, like I told you about the lady with the 7 kids, she was so desperate to get off welfare. She was so desperate to stop having her religion and her family. Now, these are her words, not mine. Her religion and her family dictate her destiny. She had big enough reason that, as I said, when she had that new baby, she turned up to our 3-day seminar on how to make money with the baby in her arms, sitting in the front row, breastfeeding, the whole works. She didn't want to miss a moment. And they went out and made it happen. She had a big enough reason why, and every single day she read that reason why and never gave up on the dream. And educate yourself. The last word in the word live now is the letter W. Now, usually I say willing, but I'm going to change it to winning. Write this down, winning and celebrating the little wins along the way. Now, even when it comes to business, when it comes to money, as I said, it flows over into everyday life. Now, in all 7 areas, if you're having a little win in your business, or you've done something on your 3 high intentions to set yourself up for success, how do you think your body's going to feel? How do you think your vitality is going to change? Are you going to wake up feeling anxious and depressed, or wake up feeling inspired and enthusiastic? Girls, they are little wins. Celebrate them. Today I woke up and I felt fantastic. I couldn't wait to get out of bed. I knew the 3 daily intentions that I wanted to tick off, and here I am. I've ticked off 2 of them. I didn't get to the 3rd one, but hey, I ticked off 2. I've moved the 3rd one to tomorrow, and I'm damn well feeling good. Is that a win? Yes or yes? That is a win. And these are the things, and I am super guilty of it, that I beat myself up more than praise myself. You've got to bring that into alignment. You will never be successful in business or finance or life if we can, us girls especially, continue to beat ourselves up. Celebrate the small wins. And that's why I've changed the word W from willing to winning. Acknowledge your perceived losses or failures throughout the day and ask yourself the one question. This perceived loss or this perceived failure, how has it served me? What did I learn from it? And how has it helped me get closer to my dreams, gain more clarity? Okay? Because, you've heard my story over and over. So many losses in business and life and things like that. And I've always just tried to say, well, how did it serve me? What did I learn from it? And now that has brought us to the end of the Live Now formula. And the only last thing I want to cover is your environment and your mastermind. Now, you girls are inside one, you watching this live, but for you on the outside, the environment and the mastermind is key. Without the right mentors, without the right environment, without the right mastermind, urging you along, cheering you along, it is hard. It is hard. And I say to you ladies, I hope you've written down all of this stuff that I've gone through today. I hope you got copious amounts of notes from it and you enjoyed it, because today is gold. And this wraps up today's podcast. Next week, I'll be back at home on the Gold Coast for a few days before I come back up on the boat. I'm going to be talking about financial independence, the first steps to creating financial independence, which goes off the back of this business. Ladies, I would love it if you would give me a comment today, a share, or 1 or 2 ahas that you got from today's podcast. I shared, years and years and years and years of learned information and knowledge with you today that will literally turn your life around if you begin to implement it and you grasp it. I would love for you to share inside my select community, girls, just 1 or 2 ahas, because then all the other ladies in our community can glean in from you, learn from you. You go, oh, she said this, oh, she said that. This golden gem jumped up for me today from Amanda, and then some of the other ladies will get them and pop them in your journal, girls. I covered gold here today. If any of you have a desire for business success, financial independence, and life on your own terms, health mastery, relationship mastery, this podcast was full of absolute gold today. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I want to say thank you. I need to wrap it up. It's been 1 hour. We are pulling out of Roslyn Bay in 1 hour, and we're heading back over to the Great Keppel Islands for another few days. And then we're going to have friends on our boat. So, in fact, you'll probably see a couple of videos here with my great friend Adam Hudson's coming on the boat for a couple of days. So you'll be traveling with me again for another few weeks. But I just want to say thank you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Give me a sign, a thumbs up or a crying or a love heart if you enjoyed this hour of power as much as I have, because I gave you everything today to set you up in business and finance success. I love each of you so much. Sending you big cyber hugs as always, and to thank you for being part of my community inside Select. Please share a couple of takeaways from today, a couple of things that gravitated to you, even jolted you out of where you are to go, oh my God, she said this and now I see why I'm here. You know, this is the gold, and you will get the life you want because, you know, together we will get there. Go over this podcast again. It is absolute gold. Okay, now this wraps up today's very empowering podcast, and I have no doubt you took copious amounts of notes about mastering business. Next week, I am going to talk more on how to become financially independent, starting exactly where you are, no matter who you are. So be sure to tune in. And until next week, once again, I so appreciate you tuning in with me today on this podcast and learning new strategies on how to empower your life. Please, if you like this episode and you got massive value from it, I would be so grateful if you'd take just 30 seconds to leave me a review and pay it forward by sharing this Gday Gorgeous podcast with others you know and care about, friends and family that you know would get massive value from my teachings. Now, till next week, I look forward to seeing you, and remember to find out more about my Gday Gorgeous Select coaching, my community, how I can help you become financially independent and successful in business and in life. Pop over to my website and you'll see there my new book, my Frustrated to Fabulous book, my audio, journals, diaries, and all wonderful stories from women that I mentor today. Pop over to gdaygorgeous.com or click on the show notes below. All right, darling, I'll see you next week. I mean, gorgeous. I'll see you next week. And thank you for tuning in. Bye for now.